In this video, I'll show you a quick and easy way to export your video out of Premiere into a format that you can then very easily upload to YouTube or Vimeo. First, select your timeline, go to Export Media, or you can do the shortcut of Command M. And then when you do that, your export window will pop up. Two things you need to pay attention to. First is this format. There's a lot of different formats here. You need to make sure if you're exporting it for video, for being viewed on the internet, which you are, you want to pick H.264. That's a format that's developed for the internet specifically. And then under that, you'll see there's a drop down for presets. I already have YouTube at 1080p picked, but you can see there's a whole bunch of different versions. The best ones to pick are either Vimeo or YouTube, because that's where you guys are exporting to. And they both come in 1080p, 4K. They also come in 480 wide and 480 SD. SD stands for standard definition. That is not what we want. You should not be exporting to those two formats, either of those formats. And there's also 720p, which is a high definition, but it's a lower version of high definition. Mostly you're going to be picking 1080p, either Vimeo or YouTube. Unless you're doing a project like the snowboarding project, I believe was in 720. But you have to just decide what your original footage is shot is probably what you're going to pick for your preset. So if you shot at 1080p, you should export it at 1080p. So that's what I'm going to pick. And then the next thing is output name. Now the output name will be the name that you had you used for your timeline, but that's not necessarily what you want. So you may change that. I'm just going to say Mediterranean. I'm going to say Med Cruise 2017. And then I'm going to click OK or save. And then after that, you just export it by clicking the export button. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause so it can do its work. Okay, it's about to finish. And it finishes. And once it does that, that window closes. Now I'm going to show you another way. If you have the newest version of Premiere, you can go to Media, and then all the same things I told you are still hold true. So I'm going to actually call this Med Cruise 27 V2, version 2. So I'm going to save that. And then you can see in the middle here, I'm going to stretch my window out a little bit bigger. You'll not be able to see it all. But you have some tabs here. So the one that you're probably going to see is the video one here. And that is the tab that shows the what your video is in. If it's different, or you can make changes here if you want. You can tell it to match the source. You basically don't want to do that. You want to use a preset. So if you look on the newer versions of Premiere, you'll have an additional little tab, Publish. And the cool thing about that is that I'm going to stretch my window a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, even though you won't be able to see it as much. But you can actually set your computer up to save directly. So if you want to do Facebook video, you could directly load up. If you wanted to load it to Behance, you could directly load it up to Behance. If it's something you were going to submit for stock, if you had a FTP or a Twitter account. But then you have Vimeo and you have YouTube. So I already have logged in to my account, and so I can click right there, and if I have that activated, when I export, it will export straight to YouTube. So I can actually put the title in here. I'm going to say Med Cruise 2017 V2, and I can here I can automatically say yes, I want it to be private, or I want it to be unlisted. You don't want to do it private, and anything else you want to do with it, and then you just hit export. So I'm going to let this export for a second, and I'll pause and come back to you in a second. Now, when I use the automatic YouTube upload, it just uploads to YouTube, and I'm done. I don't have to do anything else with it. I can go and check and make sure it's there. But if I exported it just with the regular way, where you set the YouTube preset, well, you have to set the preset anyway, but I didn't have that publish tab. If you have a version of Premiere that does not have that publish tab, you'll have to do it this way. So you can either go find your file and drag it, drop it on here, or you can click on the big arrow and go to your file where or wherever you saved the folder or the file, and then just double click on it and it will automatically start uploading. And the great thing is, if you use the correct preset, you won't get any warning messages right here. You won't have any problems uploading it at all. It will even show you what the URL will be once it gets uploaded. If you want, you can change anything here. If you want to, if you decide I don't want it to be public, I want it to be unlisted, you make sure you click over here. Let me slide over. So if you did make any changes here, you need to save done, and then once it uploads, and then it just needs to process. So it'll be at whatever that link is that YouTube provides for you, and as you can see, until it's actually done, it will give you a message that it's still being processed. You might be able to watch it even, but at a lower res until it's completely processed. But if you do that, if you use the presets for either Vimeo or YouTube in Premiere Pro, you should have no problems at all uploading it, as well as making sure it's at a higher quality than some of the videos that you might do if you pick a lower quality like 480p. All right, so try to stick with 1080p or higher, whether you're doing Vimeo or YouTube.